But the truth is, I could be sitting on the beach missing what God's really wanting to do
Wow.
because my desire overrode wisdom.
Yeah.
And I might be getting eat up by a, I don't know, something, or get out in the
Alligator.
water and eat by a
Yeah.
shark. I don't know. But the truth is, I need wisdom more than I need the beach. You need wisdom more than you need chocolate. I hate to say that. Welcome to The Principal Thing. We're Wes and Ashley Miller, where you'll learn wisdom you can live. All right, let's get started for today's episode. I'm so excited about getting into this. We got to get into the Proverbs again. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 7 says
Yeah.
what?
We're going to stick right there. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and in all you're getting, get understanding.
Perfect. Perfect. All right, let's break that up because, wow, that's a lot. And it's a lot. And it's like, okay, we know we need wisdom. And so tell us something about that. Well, let's break that point out. We're going to take this one verse and dissect it. First point I want to pull out of this, and we're just going to ride this for a little bit, is it says, therefore,
Yeah.
wisdom's principal thing, therefore get wisdom. So, in other words, there has to be this established idea that this is so important. I need it more than anything. And I just got to start right away with desire. If you don't desire something, there's a good chance you're not going to get it. If you don't desire something, you're not going to pursue it. So, Jesus said, if any man wants to follow me, he has to desire it, then come after me. So desire is such an important thing. So let's talk about desire, honey. Like,
Yeah.
what's some different things people can desire? Let's get off the wisdom. What do you desire?
Oh my goodness. I desire the chocolate cake.
She absolutely loves chocolate.
Yeah.
It's crazy. She loves chocolate.
Yeah. I mean, what we desire, we tend to have evidence of what we desire, right? I mean, if I'm jeans are fitting a little tighter, it's because I've been desiring a little bit
I
too much chocolate.
desire beaches, like sand, and
Yeah.
like this calmness. I desire that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you desire Amazon. Oh my goodness, she desires Amazon packages.
And you desire to make me happy.
I do. That is one of the greatest things. Is just I desire to make. I have a lot of desire. We get cravings, and let's just say a desire. Another word for it, appetite.
Yeah.
What do you have an appetite for? And what Proverbs is saying is you need an appetite for wisdom.
Yeah.
You need to desire it. And you say, well, why would I want that, or why do I got to do that? Because of all that it brings forth. God in his word said it's the first thing, but it's not just because God's just coming up with some plan for that. It's because that is for your best. In other words, if you would make desire your earnest heart and your appetite for it more than anything else, like we can have other things. We can still like chocolate, I could still like beaches. But the truth is, I could be sitting on the beach missing what God's really wanting to do
Wow.
because my desire overrode wisdom.
Yeah.
And I might be getting eat up by a, I don't know, something, or get out in the
Alligator.
water and eat by a
Yeah.
shark. I don't know. But the truth is, I need wisdom more than I need the beach. You need wisdom more than you need chocolate. I hate to say that. I do.
Yeah.
But the truth is, we need wisdom. So desire, what do you desire? And honestly, there's plenty of good things in life you can desire. But what this scripture is saying is more than those things, even, you've got to desire wisdom. And honey, honestly, wisdom has a name. Wisdom's a person. Wisdom is Jesus. You're not going to get wisdom apart from God or apart from Jesus. But really, when you say I'm going after Jesus, you really should also be going after wisdom because he is wisdom.
Yeah.
And what would Jesus do is this thing we hear a lot.
Yeah.
But
That's what
honey,
I was thinking
you know
too.
what I say. It's not
Yeah.
just what would Jesus do.
Yeah. It's what is Jesus
Yeah,
doing?
what's
I
he
think
doing right
that's
now?
important. You can say, God, give me wisdom in this area, and then evaluate that, right? Part of the understanding is what would Jesus do in this situation? How would Jesus respond to this situation? And 10 out of 10 times, Jesus is going to use wisdom in it.
One of your phrases that you use that I absolutely love, it's her slogan. And she says, we always hear this thing, if you see something, say something. If you see something, do something. In other words, wisdom is something to do. It's something to pursue. It's not just, oh, I know I need wisdom and I hope I get it. We've got to desire that. And the first step really is desire. It's an appetite. So therefore, here's the thing. Okay, I know I need wisdom, but how do I know where my desire gauge is? Honey, I think it's an inventory. And
Oh,
you know what inventory means to you, but what do you think that means? I mean,
yeah. I think that, we can talk about what is it that I'm desiring? What is it that I'm doing? We desire the beach, but wisdom would say, right now is not the time to go to the beach.
so therefore, beach can be good, but it's within timing, which is a wisdom thing.
Right.
And it's when, where, when, how, why.
Right.
All the other things, wisdom's first. So you have to evaluate, how am I doing on wisdom scale?
Yeah.
Am I really going after wisdom like I'm going after chocolate or going after, that Big
Wow.
Mac or whatever it is? And I hate to just talk about food, but we understand food with appetite, but there's a lot of appetites of the body, if you know
Yeah.
what I mean. And the reality is wisdom needs to precede even any of the appetites.
What about the appetite of just, self-seeking, just the appetite of making ourselves
That's what I'm saying. You
God?
just say I've got so many things, and we call that ambition. But there's something Scripture talks is self-ambition. That's not
Yeah.
always a good thing.
Yeah.
And what motivates me? Where am I coming from on this? What's my agenda? What's my motive? And that's where, man, it all has to be scaled back and thrown through wisdom to get to the real point that you need. So
Mhm.
it really is. It's an equalizer. We talk about evaluation appetites. We have food appetites, we have sexual appetites, and I'm talking to some people that's a hang up in your life. But the reality is, you need wisdom even about that. You need wisdom in your relationships, your connections, and your attachments, man. And so,
We have relationship. You talk about
yeah,
attachments. We have relationship appetites, right?
yeah,
Some
desire,
people want
crave,
relationships so badly,
crave.
right, that they lack wisdom in who they choose to be partners with.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We really just have to know that our greatest appetite has got to be for wisdom. And so the principal thing really on this is to know that I got to take an inventory, just go and take a list of how am I doing, what's going on, what do I really want more than anything in life.
Let me just stop you.
Yeah.
So, are you telling me that the principal step that they can take for this episode is what?
I'm telling you that wisdom is an evaluation. You got to evaluate, do I go after wisdom with desire?
Mm.
So evaluate desires. Go down your appetites, write them all out.
Make a
That doesn't,
list.
doesn't mean they're bad,
Yeah.
but I think you got to say, is wisdom at the top of that? And what scripture's saying is it's got to be at the top of that.
Yeah.
So your desire is where you start. You're
Yeah.
going to see change if your desires change. So get the desire for wisdom like never before. If you crave anything, crave wisdom.
Yeah.
So that's it. That is the principle today. Evaluate your desires and check out where you're coming from. And is wisdom at the top of your desire?
And thanks for joining us for this episode of The Principal Thing. If this encouraged you, share it with somebody and come back for another dose of practical truth from Proverbs.
Until then, take your principal step and keep growing.